Wallan Shatta. Nimeangalia hivyo nyuma tayari naona producer yetu tu anakula. I'm telling you this guy is such expensive. He's so expensive, I mean. But lakini karibuni to the Embrace Your Darkness. In the rabbit hole. Producer. Unaona vidole za kukula hizo.
Endelea.
Are we okay now? Yeah. Welcome to Embrace Your Darkness in the rabbit hole. Again, manze, venye si usemaga kila time. There's no solutions in this show. Hapa hivi tunaingiaga to entertainment. Hapo tunaingia kila mtu tu aseme chenye anasema. Whatever you feel is right for you, that is what you go with, bra. Bora unaweza itetea. Na kama kawaida niko hapa hivi na common cruise. At least we are maintaining the stability. Mama Kanisa si ujichape intro.
Welcome guys. Another episode, another Saturday. Remember, again, musema, sex is standard. Yes, we are here there are no solutions. We are here for entertainment and it's about the experience. So guys, keep the sex in your mind, especially mkiingia hapa Embrace the Rabbit Hole. And yeah, msisahau bado nawapenda. Ukisikia by the way umekasirika kiasi, lazima tuwaletee hugs na jugs hapa na kule. I also want to introduce our guests. Rafi, take over.
Welcome people, my name is Mr. Rafi Masola. Big up to the youth them. Mi sina mengi ya kusema.
Imaliza haraka.
Rafi, this is also like you. Just a Rafi mas. Lakini it's okay. I got you. And yes, today we have our able and beautiful. None other than there's somebody else. Doreen.
Hi.
Kai unia replacement wangu. But it's fine. Mi napenda watu at least wana take over this.
Sema
cheche za
usiseme
moto.
replacement kwa ubaya.
Si kwa ubaya. Unajua ni reject place kwingine.
Evolution.
So I still love you.
Yeah, you evolve.
I still love you no matter what.
I know, right?
Utadu.
That's the beauty of
You'd
connection.
rather die.
It's the beauty of connection. It's the beauty of connection. We, Papa Baiko iko on.
Ngoja kwanza Dorina jinini kwanza.
Oh.
Nishasema hi.
No, say something. Umetumiss. Guy.
Oh,
Utamiss.
Okay,
Utamiss babes.
no, for real. Nimemiss kwa hapa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diesel.
Sinaga pain.
Can I before Baiko akuje? We have somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. Sasa sijui utakimbia wapi.
Hana mic naye. Si ataongea atakuja ongea akiwa na mic.
Oh, we have somebody else extra here. Wale wanamjua atamjua, but nataka akichukua mic atajipiga intro. Hakuna haja I take that stand away from him.
Ashajitetea.
I know.
Na usipochunga.
Kaina kona cute dimples.
Karembo usipochunga.
Watangoja shash. I don't know why, but mimi dento unimaliza.
Usipochunga.
Fuck me not.
Just saying.
But I appreciate something more. Sijui kuna mtu na bedho ukiwa nikizuba usijali. Sometimes I was looking at your mouth.
I know I am a work of art, so
Yes. Muhimu.
Now present
Yeah, so guys, mtu join hapa X, mtu join pale YouTube. We're here. But hamtaona this gorgeousness art, beautiful art naona. Au ingine ni usuals. Wewe Baiko ameingia?
Na inatumia sola. Haya.
Nini inatumia sola?
Hiyo vibrate imejiuza. But anyway, what? Tukianza show sasa.
You're such a hater, man.
Wacha niingie darkness
Sawa,
hapo.
ingia dark.
As a fucking hater.
Haters.
Mimi nakwambia producer kuna kitu kingine niliwatchigi ya pilot. What do those pilots do? Iko Netflix. It's like a comedy. It's a very, very dark. So nikiona maproducer wameenda hivyo, wameenda wamejiingiza kwa room
Labda
nyingine
ameenda
huko.
kumangana.
Wewe tunaona tu backslaps.
But anyway,
No bwana.
yani,
Wanga shitty as fuck.
sasa
No, wacha nikuulize.
They are
Ni
raping each other.
wameenda, hebu tuambie what that kasho uliona. What did you-
kwa hiyo show walikuwa wanasema mapilot wakiwa huko kwa cockpit ati kuna time inafika wanaeka ndege on autopilot wanaanza kudishiana huko kwenye madrum. Unaona?
This is
Oh, I don't remember the name of that show. Lakini pia sasa saizi tuko na maproducer wawili bana. So kuna time zingine pia wamepotea, alafu unaangalia kule unashanga sasa who is behind that shit. But anyway, so nikiingia darkness today we are going to talk about marriage commitment versus the love commitment versus man's purpose. Juu hisi ni tuko pale kwa system. This is the month of men. Wanaume wasichizi. So nitaanza na love. First things first. Love ain't shit. It should be removed in discussion. Because no one can define it. Love is not definable. Love is not something to say, this is what love is. This is what it's gonna be. Sijui nini. It looks beautiful in a sentence, but everyone has their own definition of love. So tutoeni love. Ndio, when you're talking about love, let's talk about love in the context of the discussion. Let the discussion, let the context be the cause of that love. The love be a byproduct of, maybe if you're talking about safe space, ndio, or vulnerability or loyalty, then unasema, with that, there's like a love. Then we can discuss what that love is. So in the darkness hapo tumeanza kuingia, tumetoa love, tumebaki na marriage commitment na man's purpose.
So utaki
Now,
tuongea about love.
no, again, hiyo ni mimi nimesema love and shit. Hii nimeingia kwa darkness nikisema hivyo. You can talk about love and prove to me that love is shit based on, if it doesn't have a standard definition, then everyone has their own definition on love, cause utapata watu wengine them saying, how have you woken up? No, not just good morning. Ile good morning, umeamka, how have you woken up? How are you? To them, that's love. That,
Yeah.
that someone is asking how you, so you explain how you are and all that. That is love. Then kuna wengine wenye usipoanza high love, hiyo haoni kama ni love.
Mhm.
So you'll talk about love in your context. In this darkness. So on the marriage commitment and the man's purpose. The biggest model we've been following, not that these two are together, these two are totally different. But the biggest model we've been following is that these two are together. That it is the man's purpose to take care of his family and make sure his family is okay. Now, that worked in the times of survival. Where now you needed kids, you needed to multiply and fill the earth and all that. Right now, it doesn't make sense to say that taking care of your family is your purpose. So you're going to, kwa system venye tumewekwa saizi venye tumeifollow, you go to school, finish school. Once you're done with school, you get a job. Once you get a job, you marry. So you're doing all that in your life so that you can take care of your family. Not every man is like that. There are some men who, like, there's a time I told people that not everyone is meant to be a parent. We'll end up blaming some people instead of taking accountability of what is there. Like in the community era, it was about mtoini wa community. So kama huyo mzazi ana fail, the community will take over. So it's the same thing. Not every person is meant to be a parent. You know. So to see every man, your purpose can be totally different. One. Like you can come up and decide, you know what, me, job yangu, itakuwa ni, my purpose in life might be, I'll keep on insisting on this. My purpose in life might be to focus on myself. Meaning by focusing on myself, I really don't know what me focusing on myself will amount to. Me focusing on myself might amount to me ending up in a monogamous relationship. At least it will be out of alignment, out of intention, because I've focused on myself. You know, again, me focused on myself might be, I really don't want to marry for shit. I want to party from every beach to every beach, bruh. And that is okay. It doesn't matter your age. You know, so you are not less of a man. Because for most of us, wale wenye so mejipata kwa hiyo mess. Oh, I said that was one. Now, secondly, is now anchoring your purpose in someone that has led so many men to the grave. Because this person pia anafika mahali ana change. The kids grow up, they go where they go. Because they didn't relate with you, you were full time, your focus was on taking care of them, not relating with them. So they grow and they leave you there. Your wife pia sasa, once the kids have grown and wewe job yako ile kumzalisha na kumnini imeisha, she can now be taken care of by the kids. There's no longer a connection between you and your wife. Your wife changes. The moment your wife changes now, unaanza kusema, oh, people are hii mtu hana shukrani inaitwaje?
Ungrateful.
People are ungrateful. Wewe, that is
Ungrateful.
normal. Unaanza kusema ati oh, people are ungrateful. But in real sense ni people being ungrateful is part of what life is. The problem is your expectation and of entitlement that now because I did this, you people are supposed to do this. If you put your purpose, again I'll repeat, if you put your purpose is maybe to focus on yourself, then if coming out of that is having a family, then you won't need a manual. And then thirdly, there is no day you will heal at ile utakuwa umeheal to the maximum and take care of your kids perfectly. First of all, you'll take care of your kids differently. And not all those kids, at every kid by there is going to come out of there with their own trauma. It might be some aka healthy trauma, a healthy coping mechanism, but there's a trauma they're going to get out of that will need them going through a character development to comprehend that trauma, that it was positive. So, with that said, a man's purpose should not be a marriage commitment. A marriage commitment should be a decision, not
A destination.
a destination. Bro, a marriage is not a destination for a man nor a woman. But since saizi mwezi focus ni a man, a marriage contract should not be a destination. It is a decision. Ile umefika mahali in a right place, uko like, you know what? I can marry. You know, no pressure, no. Hata pengine saizi you are 83. Yeah, yes. I can marry me a nice 18-year-old. Just saying. Just saying.
But saying.
Yes. Yeah, and again, we are in the darkness. So you notion tuko nayo, bro, a marriage contract, a marriage commitment doesn't need love. A marriage commitment needs respect, which is mutual, and intention.
You have to be intentional that you want to go through. You see,
That dynamic. You have to be intentional with it because you know what that shit means.
and also, do you know why legally marriages are forceful in terms of how they are seen? Look at it this way: when you marry, you are getting into like a mafia cartel with your partner, sindio? A cartel of two. And the fact that anajua vitu zako is so powerful mpaka even at the court of law hawezi mforce yeye atestify against you juu yeye ndo anajua vitu mingi kukuhu. So the person you marry must always be the person who can carry your secrets hadi ile siku
No,
ambaye.
they don't have to.
Unfortunately, they don't have
They
to.
don't have to.
Sikia,
They don't
sikia,
have to be.
sikia kidogo tu. Acha niskume.
No, you know, that is more of an idea.
Ngoja, acha niskume.
It's not practical.
Ndio maana we have something called social engineering. Wewe mwenyewe mabibi kama hao wana exist. Wanadhani bibi ya Wanjigi vile ana go down for him.
No,
Ngoja
hatujasema
kidogo.
how exist. Umesema tu they don't have. Umesema you must.
Okay,
They don't have to.
angalia. Mimi na angalia from a perspective of my mind, unaona.
Okay.
So maybe kwa mtu mwingine they don't have, lakini me if I think about it, lazima awage mtu ambaye, if you are going to go into marriage and you are going to go into a bond with this person, then this person has to espouse certain characters ambazo wewe kama individual umepick. The same way madem sometimes ama watu, let's not talk about gender, people sometimes they pick partners not because they have vetted them, no, because it was convenient at that particular time or they served a certain purpose.
But do you
No.
think that is ideal right now?
Right now your partner can either make you rise ama akusinkishe.
Do you think that was not
So
there
that's not
during?
intentional?
Okay, that's not intentional.
That's why you have to be intentional with yourself, with your choices. You have to intentionally choose mse mwenye umevet, unajua atakuwekea zako na ataeka zenu.
And
You
when
have to be
Apuliza,
intentional about
that's an
that.
ideology, but
No, with
is it
intention, it
practical?
With
it
intention,
will happen out of alignment.
yes,
Yeah,
with
but
intention,
how practical is that?
it
Very
is
practical.
practical.
No,
Look.
the way I'm asking this question is because that is what it's the idea. That's the idea. But if you look at even our current times, how many have been able to withhold that? Because you can't say Jimmy Wanjigi, yet he belongs to generation maybe X.
All right, let's leave. If we think about generation, the same problems that affected our parents are affecting us, but with a different type of magnitude and maybe a different type of scenario. You understand? But the pain is still the same. The need to be loved is still the same. It doesn't change.
Who's the one who needs the love?
Both partners need the love if that's something they're looking for. The person who needs love is the person who is looking for love. But if you're not looking for love,
But
do you
sasa
really
hapo
need the
tena
love?
ndio narudi niko like by the hii love tulitoa.
Exactly.
So when you're going somewhere where you need the love, you
Mhm.
need the love,
Mm.
and the other person needs the love, you're going to put expectations on
On each
someone.
other.
Exactly.
Yes, and it's not supposed to be on expectation wise. This is a contract. A contract comes from alignment. We are a team.
I'm talking about before you actually make that contract, there has to be a certain mindset that wants that type of relationship. You understand? Before you get to the contract level, you have to have that mind of, I am going to social engineer the type of partner I want. The heartbreaks we are
That is
going.
manipulation.
No,
Yeah.
listen. It might be manipulation, it might be manifestation.
No,
It
it's
might,
manipulation.
yeah. It might be even intentional. You understand?
Yeah.
But we have to do the homework. Most people feel like they're stuck with people who they no longer want anymore. Most people are feeling they're stuck with people who they no longer meet their expectations. Why? They were led there through love. They were led there through, yani hawaku social engineer partner mwenye
Why do you
anataka.
need to social engineer partner?
You have to, because the
No.
socializing thing is the thing you will be doing with that person.
So
May I?
And if you fail on the social, kweli, if you fail on the social and the engineering, acha nisikudanganye, utapata the character yenye itakuja.
wacha tusikie
What
Doreen.
else, Doreen?
Okay. First, I think the whole idea of hizo self zote, self-love, self-care, self.
Mhm.
Zili, ni a concept of the West.
Everything.
Because ideally, if you look back, and you look at history and everything, Africans used to stay like together as communities and they used to thrive. Now the trouble comes in when we try to make life all about ourselves. I do appreciate the need to grow and to self-realize and self-actualize, because of course there's how you'll be able to relate and interact with communities if you're self is azote. But now the move to want to be self at all circumstances is a challenge. And then again, I do think that we should read, okay, not we should, there is need to read yourself of expectations from other people. And when Raf is saying, and he's talking about you need love from this person, you need to social engineer this person. Oh, you didn't say that?
I
You
didn't
didn't
say
He
okay.
said that.
Okay.
Love, no.
No, you said
You
social
said we have
I
to
said
social
yes.
engineer.
and you did say you need love.
No. I said if someone needs love,
Oh, okay.
then they will make those choices of partner depending na ile feeling ana feel.
Oh,
Unaona?
True.
okay.
But what I'm saying is, if you want a certain type of partner, they can't fall from heaven. You have to actually
So
put
they
in the work.
do they also social engineer you?
Of course, by
So
the
you
time you
social
get
engineer each other.
Sindio, by the
Okay.
time by the time you're getting that type of partner, by the time you are becoming his type of partner or her type of partner, kuna social engineering kali imefanyika. It's either you left who you were and became what she was, or she left who she is and became what you embody, or nyote tu mlikuja na whichever type of characters, but you found unison because that's the type of character unataka. Sijui
Okay.
kama na make sense.
Me, I would want to give a different way out of this. Yeah?
Mhm.
With the current generations letuko, I think I'm going to talk of X's and Y's and Z's pale tunaenda. We've not been able to be like as good as the guys before that, boomers and whatever. This will say something. Love inezondolewa. Think about it. Look at our grandparents. Look at some of our parents who we are. Okay. There's one thing utapata. The man was clear with his purpose. The men who were successful, they knew what walikuwa na ile purpose walikuwa wanajua wanataka. In terms of where they want to be in a certain period, what they want to achieve in family life, and even through the society. So the wife, by the time unachagua, the one you choose and say, this is going to be the wife, they all align to the purpose of the man. It wasn't anything to do with love. So love was coming out of the moment you satisfy a certain, goal that the guy wanted, the man wanted. That's how the woman would now appreciate this is being looked as love. And the reason I say maybe it's because of, I feel like our grandparents' parents used to be the gangsters of life. Time ya feelings, sijui love na nini, hiyo ni yako. Wamekam ku-appreciate hizo vitu baadaye. Because I look at the best example I can use is like for example, like my dad. He tells us that growing up they were not well off to a point that he had to know where he needed to get the money to take himself to high school. And you can imagine at that point, alikuwa anasema the father could not even afford money to take him for a simple, like that whole passage ya manhood. Okay? What does that mean? Because the purpose for the father was not, alikuanga ile ya, purpose yake ilikuwa different. But education imekuja through the system that was there. Sindio? If it was those previous cultures that were there, wangealai na waendelee kuna ile purpose a man was supposed to serve in, unasema in a community, the women knew, the children knew, and the grandparents walikuwa najua. So I feel like the people who, let me finish. So the people who really understood story a man's purpose would have been them. Because by the time they come choose you as a woman, they were very intentional. Wanakuambia, this is the idea, this is the goal, this is what you're getting from this marriage. So it's for you to take or leave it. Sisi what now ukisikia like the way nani anasema, you want love, inakuja na conditions. So hizi ni vitu zimekuja baadaye. To a point now, people are thinking that a marriage has to be successful, where you have to incorporate sijui love, sijui nini.
So love doesn't exist.
Doesn't.
It
So
does
pale
exist,
imefika,
but not
inakuja na
as a
conditions.
main thing.
Mimi, I
And
don't think it
unfortunately, ile
exists.
generation tuko sahi, we've become a bit egocentric or self-centered to a point that unajua sahi ile place ya ukiachiviwa purpose, munaulizana so what next? Tushamaliza. what's next for us? Because I've heard people who say if the purpose was to get kids now grow up, wakimaliza. Me, I've seen people walk away from marriage after washamaliza the main purpose of it.
Acha nikwambie, hiyo story ya love, it doesn't exist. If you do not have clear, articulate goals of what you guys are doing as partners, then inamaanisha mtakuwa out of sync. Mi nakwambia, the place where there's a lot of work is in actually having the thought of what type of partner do you want. Naona our brother pale Lamo, unajua yeye amesema hako kwenye mahusiano actively. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu kuna kitu yeye mwenyewe anataka yenye bado hajapata. There is a person he needs
Amesema
to...
saizi tu ananunua tu.
hata labda hanunui, hata
No.
labda anaweza kuwa a handsome nigga, lakini sikia, labda in jest, lakini yeye ana social engineer the type of partner mwenye ako willing kukaa naye. Unaona?
How, by staying alone?
Si ndio? Juu hiyo social engineering haija succeed ama haija effectiwa.
I wonder.
Wacha
Hapa tuko rabbit hole, kila mtu atageti.
before Lamo apate
Sijui Lamo
mic.
nikupea hapa pangu.
Wacha mimi
Lamo come
ni
sit here
address
kidogo and
vitu
this.
mbili. Kitu ya kwanza ni yenye Doreen amesema like hizi stories za self ni vitu za western. And I'll say this, yes, they are. And I'll combine that with Karembo amesema like maybe our great grandfather or grandfathers or nini had a better structure on this. That is what I disagree. According to right now, that structure is not better for right now. That structure, as I started, was better for survival mode.
Yes. Dominance.
Not even dominance, survival mode. Like me, for the Luos, you wanted more kids because of labor security. It had nothing to do with you. Wewe uko na mali mingi, so you need more kids when wataenda wafanya hizi shughuli, mabibi wengi kufanya hizo. That made sense. So you go get a woman, even if it is more women, but you're taking care of all of them. You know, they are well secured. That worked with survival. Now, when we began this show, I was talking to Karembo, telling Karembo about evolution. I'll come to. This is the Western side, a Western notion. We've been consuming information from the Western side. To a point, I'll tell you this, community or society, however you call it, is a construct. Yes, it is. A community and a society doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is a relationship that is based on connection. That is what exists. That is what you can go point at. But then those people are together because they are connected on this. But there's no ati kitu ya kusema sijui community na society. That is a construct. So, yes, some of information that we are addressing right now is westernized, but it doesn't mean we are embodying westernization. It means we are picking what is working from our cultural. Yeah? Not glorifying at our grandfathers were okay, then we copy everything. No. We're only taking what is working. And what was working? The marriage contract. Emotions aside. Responsibility contract. That is working. What are you taking from the westernized side? From the westernized side, you are taking the part of alignment and intention. Most of us right now, we are doing things from obligation, not intentional. Yani ile tu, because you're a man, you're supposed to marry. Because you're a woman, you're supposed to submit. Because you're a man, you're supposed to do this. But you yourself, you're not mature enough to even do those things. You don't even understand them. So, for you to start understanding them, you have, first of all, to know yourself. so that you can know, hey, you know what? I don't like red. Or no. The best thing I remember my son. Now this I got from my son. I was like, you should get a blue.
Bless you.
Where?
Bless you.
Mm-hmm. Eh,
It's cold.
Putin uswai leta tena hiyo dawa yako, hiyo rosemary. Ama ndio Mary Jane flower. So, what was I saying?
Your
Oh,
son.
my son, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, Daddy, me, I don't want that thing. I don't want a blue thing. I want a different color. The first time I was like, but you know, that color you want is for girls. My son refused that toy. The blue toy I was getting him, I got him by force. I've never felt bad about a toy like that. That toy he never played with. Ilibaki hapo paka hata ikabidi tumepeana. Because I was forcing him on a construct I was forced also on.
Mm-hmm.
That boys love blue,
Girls love pink.
girls love
I like
pink.
colors.
It doesn't have to be like that. Like, as in, you can see to realize, you know what, I don't like blue. I like pink. Paka nikitulia hivi niipatie jina mauve. Huh?
Mauve.
Mauve. Or whatever.
It's Marv.
Marv. It's Marv. Eh, like, usiogope
Mhm.
kusema kitu just because the society had given you a standard of what it's supposed to be. Don't ever be afraid to embody. Saizi tumefika point paka tunaanza kuongea tuko mahali pa my body my choice. We are now on eggshells to a point you can't tell someone is fat. Why is that? Because people are still navigating on obligation. Obligation is you're not supposed to be rude on someone. Bruh, if I want to be rude on you, why shouldn't I be? Just because it's rude to who? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, why don't we just do things? Now that's why I said we copy that part is we pick from the Western. Another thing I pia tunaweza pick is from the Asian side. From the Asian side, those people live within their means. You know, a Chinese can design for you a room. Paka ikuwe na kitchen na choo hapo ndani. A small thing. Because that's all they have. They've found a way of how to maximize on that space. So we can pick that. Instead of going with the westernized notion of you can live your dream but on debt. You know, so now you're having people living beyond their dreams, but loans nama nini kuokotwa hii kuokotwa inaitwagaje
Auction.
auctioneers bana are on your case. A lot of people are depressed in jams here in the parking lot because of loans. If we can consume here Asia, live within your means, then we'll not that people won't have loans, but we'll have manageable loans. You know, because you're living within your means. If you're taking a loan for food, it's because you know you're supposed to. It's a need. So you kind of have a codependency relationship with Mama Mboga. You know? Madhe wewe tu nigongage food. After a week, deni yangu inakuaga, deni yako inakuja tuchwani. Bas, after a week inakulipa tuchwani. Because it's need basis. I need that food. Na mulipo weekly. But huko pale, umeenda hadi umelipa depo ya Luke. Na uwezi afford your shit. So unaenda tena una hustle kupata tena do nyingine, unaenda unalipia hiyo depo, unalipia paka ijae paka iishe. Ukishaipata unakuja una realize your look, that shoe should be washed like twice in 6 months. And washing it si ile ya kwenda kuosha kuianika tu kwa jua. It needs, if you don't have a wash and dryer, maybe it's 1,500 to wash it. You can't afford it. So I don't know if
Yeah, I still wanted. Oh, what?
I don't know if I've landed the point on.
You have.
Okay.
You have.
You have.
You have, and I think I also wanted to mention about the conversation about evolution when Karim was talking about how the boomers had a structure. But then I think in my capacity as not a man, I think there shouldn't be. Okay, this is something I've been trying to say since I came here. There shouldn't be a standard way of doing things, and that's why we talk about being in alignment. Because at the end of the day, I don't think a man's commitment should be a standard thing. For instance, like for you, Raf, for you, Diesel, shouldn't be the same thing.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, okay, I saw a tweet somewhere. Someone talking about, I've never seen a man who wants to get into a monogamous relationship with a woman and they don't want a child. Because at the end of the day, what men, this is a tweet, not my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, men think that they do have a lineage, I don't know what to pass on or something, just to see some
A legacy.
exactly.
legacy.
Men always normally think they have a legacy to continue, so they need to have a woman. Might not be like having a woman in a marriage setup, but just having someone to give them a child, and then they will feel complete, which is something maybe you should say, because I've never seen a man who really doesn't want to continue his legacy or lineage. So I don't know whether that's a commitment. And then now, when you come to marriage, if you move, we keep on saying this, Diesel, if we move in alignment, you get to clear your things on whether you want to get married, whether you don't want to get married. And then one thing I also wanted to comment on is the need for connection, not the need for, the connection you're talking about. Did you call it connection?
Yes.
When I talked about community?
Yes, yes.
Connection. I think we tend to disfigure how connection looks like, because connection in any form is connection. Doesn't necessarily have to be a special connection between a man and a woman in a marriage. Because at the end of the day, I think I've seen men who have very blossoming platonic relationships and they survive and they thrive. So again, after your connection with Mama Mboga for food, it's a connection.
Big
I
one.
mean,
Very important.
yeah, it's a very important connection.
It's something that's
Yeah.
at the end of the
So
day.
the whole social construct of wanting to have things go this way, like go to school, finish
Social
school,
engineering.
all those things, they don't make sense. Because if you have a good connection with whatever sphere of life you're heading to, like if you move maybe to somewhere, you get a connection with whoever. I mean, for me, that's a sufficient, like that's a fulfilling life. So if I do go to a point where I do need to make a connection, and like in terms of marriage and settling down, then that's a decision I've made on my own, not because as a man or as whoever. Now today we are talking about men. As a man, I should be at this point doing this thing with this person. And that's why maybe we tend to have expectations on people which are not even met. And at the end of the day, we're heartbroken because I wanted this person to give me this, to like make them be and give me this. It's not realistic.
Can you tell us about your heartbreak?
Not now.
Okay,
The thing-
before we move past that, I want to talk about the marriage thing. It's interesting the way. Oh, and Baiko is on the mic, so I don't know if I should allow him first to speak, but Baiko, are you there?
You're the one on the mic.
Okay, so this is what
Like
I
as in
wanted
you can
to.
decide either to give him or
Let me just put this forward, then he can come in.
Okay.
That's a very interesting thing, especially about connection. And when I'm now looking at it from marriage and also the man purpose, it now takes me back to at the point the man decides he wants marriage. Definitely it's about legacy.
No, not definitely. Webe. Not definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It
okay.
could be part of his social engineering. Maybe he wants to.
I mean, can you
Yeah.
tell us what you mean by this?
What do you mean by this
engineering?
social
And
engineering?
let
Tell
me
us.
say it. You see, if your goals align and that type of thing, it means you guys have surrendered to your emotions. Now you are in alignment because you feel what this person feels. You understand? And
Alignment
that's
and social engineering don't
Yeah.
go together.
Take us
Ndo
back.
nakwambia,
kidogo. Take us back to social
nimeanza
engineering.
na alignment ndo uone mahali haitaingiliana na social engineering. With social engineering, listen, we might not even have the same taste. We might not even have the same goals. But the fact that you fit a certain criteria that is important to me in terms of what I want to achieve as an individual first, and then as two people second. Unanielewa? How many people have you seen? They have gotten into relationship not because that person was the most beautiful, no, but because that person was the smartest. In his mind, his social engineering was like, I need brains on my side. You
So
understand?
it's manipulation.
Listen, social engineering is also manipulation. It's also intention. It's
No,
also
no.
yeah, yeah.
It's manipulation
It's
first.
intentionally doing anything, whether it's
Yes, yes.
manipulation or it's
No,
intention.
it's
I
intentionally
think,
being
Rafi, you're
manipulative.
mixing the
No.
two, because when you say social engineering and
Mm.
when you say goal and purpose, let me say this: goal and purpose have nothing to do with aligning.
Listen, that's what I say.
This is
What
the
do you mean
thing,
they don't have
Uh,
No, I mean, like, for him, he's putting the emotion, feeling. to
No,
it.
no.
Because you
Listen.
see, now that's what I'm saying. If let's say, for example, you say you have a goal, and I get to understand the goal, does we have to have connected
No.
emotionally?
Listen. Let me put
If you
it. Let me
understand my goal,
let me
Yes.
let,
no, you
listen,
don't have
listen.
to.
Yes. So
Le-
that's what I'm trying to tell.
No, let me explain
Rafi.
it so that
You
you
don't need to social engineer
Mm.
so that you can continue being in that.
Because
listen.
yes.
Listen.
That's manipulation.
That's manipulation.
Listen.
Mm.
Call it any
Intentionally,
listen. We're in the
it's
rabbit hole.
manipulation with respect.
We are in the rabbit hole. We're in the rabbit hole. We are talking about individuals.
Mm.
We won't embrace this darkness as communally,
Yes.
societally. No, we'll embrace it as individuals. Now, we are talking about survival skills out there, not that it's the best thing
Mm.
or it's the most non-controversial. No, you'll call it manipulating. I'll
No, it
call
is.
it
It is.
social engineering.
It is manipulation.
In that, listen, you as an individual have to do the homework by yourself and decide what type of partner you need.
And if you get to understand doing the homework, you don't need to force them into it.
Listen. Sorry. You talk about it as forcing. You don't need to force anyone if you social engineer it. How
It
do you
is.
force?
You're forcing them. You've manipulated them.
Listen.
House nigger.
Listen.
You
Sometimes
turned them to a house nigger.
listen. You as a woman, I know sometimes you want someone who's amenable to your desires and wishes. Ndio unaweza taka mtu mwenye ukimwambia kitu anakusikiza.
Nah,
Okay, kwa hivyo unataka mtu mwenye ukimwambia kitu anakupinga.
you know. For me, I don't.
I'm just
I hate. I cannot be the man who's a follower.
sawa.
Like,
Skia.
if you listen to me, unaskiza.
Okay.
You
That's why-
have to be bullish enough to push
Okay.
me to ile like.
That's why
Yeah.
I said there are two types of people. We have had this conversation. There's the person who is being led and there's the person who is leading.
But they, wacha nikwambie hivi, you're a woman. Do you want a man who just listens and up and goes?
Okay, wait.
Or
Now
you want
see,
a man who comes in
But
and
maybe
you
says,
see that statement. Wait, you see that statement. That's you social engineering what type of man you want.
no,
That's
no,
you
no, no.
saying, listen, he needs to have these characters. Like he needs not to be a pushover.
So you know what I'd do? I'd go get a man who
Who's
Now,
like
like
that?
that,
wait,
not
wait.
You don't
making
have to
him-
social engineer
hold,
someone
yeah.
to be like
no,
that.
no. Listen, social engineering does not just come on the action level. It comes even on the mindset. You understand? It doesn't start when you do it and go and pick. No. It starts by you thinking about it and formulating the idea.
Can you help me by defining social engineering in a sentence, maybe?
Social
Okay,
engineering.
guys.
Ngoja define. Ngoja
Okay,
I
sawa.
want to hear this one.
With my definition. So, you are undertaking a task by doing certain stimulation. Sawa, si kwa technical sana. Kuna stimulation fulani zile unafanya ambazo they are geared towards certain goals. Unaona? Socially. Yani, huyu mtu atakuwa na tabia gani?
Wewe ama yeye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wewe si unajua tabia zako ni gani? You already know who you are. If we say you know who you are, by the time you're looking for someone, you have to already have defined who am I. Na huyu mtu mwenye natafuta ni mtu ana characters gani. Unaona? So the social engineering starts from the head. Watu wanachukulia kuwa when you get that person and you provide certain stimuli, then they become a certain type of person. That's where the social engineering happens. No. It starts with the planning. What type of partner do you want na atakuwa na characteristics gani? Okay. Na ukipata mtu mwenye hana hizo characteristics, how do you go about
So
getting
you move
those?
on and get the one.
No.
I mean, there is always.
Okay,
Then
guys.
why are
And
you
wait,
an
what do you
engineer?
do? What do you do?
Why are you an engineer?
What do
Because
you do?
not everybody you will find will have the characteristics you want.
So now what do you do?
See,
when
then you socially engineer.
No.
you manipulate them to what you want.
Kumaanisha kumaanisha
Nimekubalika naye.
Sikize-
no,
Kubali tu
sikize-
darkness yako.
kumaanisha
Sikizeni.
Rafi
Hapana.
hajaenda hapa,
Hajataka
hajaenda
kukubali.
kukubali,
Sikia,
so yeye
sikizeni.
amependa features, so
Sikizeni.
anataka kuforce
Sikizeni.
ingiane.
Sikizeni. Hiyo sikizeni. Hiyo ni termino, you are simplifying it.
Wewe.
Kusema ukweli,
Eh?
sikiza, haiwezi kuwa manipulation kama yule mtu ambaye
Eh?
umechagua naye anapenda karakta zako. Unaona? It becomes manipulation when this person does not even like those type of characters, lakini unamforce assume those type of characters. Umenipata?
Okay.
Unaona? Lakini wewe, if you get the homework right from hapa kichwa chako, if you get the homework right from implementation, kuwa mimi I want this type of person, sawa, how to get that type of person, ndo unasema manipulation ama convincing ama choosing. Unaona? Juu unaweza pata mtu amekuja ready made.
Hiyo ni social engineering. Hakuna ready made.
Yeah.
But anyway, hebu soma hiyo.
Okay,
Kuna
anyway,
alignment.
before
Sasa
we
hiyo alignment.
ngoja Rafi, just hold up. We have the bishop is actually on the line. Okay.
Alright.
On X, Baiko, can you hear us? Tuna need kukusikiza.
Hello.
Baiko.
Alafu kwani ni nini mbaya na wewe unaongea hivyo?
Mbona uko kakashimo?
Eh? Oh.
Oh, sawa.
Unanisikia sasa?
Ebu 1 second, we have to do.
Loud and clear.
Sema shida zako sasa.
Jamani, unajua mimi nawaangalia kwa YouTube nashangaa mbona kwani Nairobi kuna baridi?
Kwani uko jealous nini?
Baridi muone wapi?
Mbona mko na masweta kwa nyumba manzi?
Oh,
Hey.
Wewe acha mambo mingi. Wewe acha.
Unaona that sisi tuko kama wewe na Putin.
Unavanga ati Bon Club.
Una enjoy too. You are enjoying the farts around yourself.
Nashika Bon Club.
You know, anyway, chani salimia kila mtu hapo, Rafi, Karembo, Dizo, nimeona pia Dorin. Unajua Dorin, wasichana wakipaka makeup wanabadilikanga. I thought it was someone else. But nice to see you, Dorin. But and I will mention also two things. Nimesikia Dorin akisema today is a man's day. As a woman, bro, you are all men. Every woman is always on that set is a man. Hiyo mtabishana na mimi saa ingine. But I'm going to refer to 2 points. One, nimesikia Rafi akisema we are in the rabbit hole. Rafi, hii mlango ya rabbit hole umekwama nayo, utaki kuanguka kwa shimo.
Nataka kuingia.
Sasa mimi niko hapa kwa kusukuma ndani.
He needs to roll down.
Hata hapo kwa Jumbotron I've posted something. Ukienda isome utacheka man. Sasa hiyo ndio inaitwa rabbit hole.
Okay.
Because one, anytime you hear the word standardization, it's a very, very interesting term because one, it is a means of control. But control is not bad. Control is good for people who have no intention, who have no purpose. It's good. It steers them in a general direction. But for somebody who has intention and purpose, then standardization does not apply to him because in a limit. Now, where we are is at that point whereby tuko na watu wako na purpose but wanataka kustandardiziwa, na at the same time tuko na watu who have no purpose but they don't want to be standardized. You are talking about intention earlier, about and I love the way you've separated man's purpose, marriage, commitment, or love. I'm guessing that's the way it is. Bro, sasa ndo rabbit hole ya kwanza na kufungulia. And think about it, man. If we are looking at this issue of love and commitment and marriage, can they limit, or rather, can they coexist with the pursuit of an individual's purpose without compromise? That is the first question. Juu ukiangalia the way we take our points of love and marriage and purpose, you find out that, bro, and hapo kwenye Rafi anaenda na Rafi, unahitaji Samantha, sijui unafanya nini na msichana wenyewe, unahitaji Samantha.
I'm programmed venye tu anataka.
Bana,
eh, eh.
nimesikia programu nikashanga panel meeting tena hapa.
lazima program
Engineer.
Eh,
To
Hapa
make
ni
us
kwenye
sisi kama
unapatanga Mercedes
engineers.
iko na spoiler. Bro, unapata Mercedes iko na spoiler ya Makex, iko na sunroof ya Prado.
acha nikwambie
Bro,
unajua gari ikikuja kama unataka body kit ya Brabus mazee, weka tu,
Ai.
haki ya
Usiaibike.
Mungu. Hata kama unataka body kit
lakini
ya Maybach
But
weka,
tunaekaje Maybach kwa Toyota mazi?
haijalishi
Ama Daihatsu.
ikikubamba ikubambe.
Ah.
Unajua we spend a lot
modification.
we spend a lot of time kujaribu kubamba wase wengine mazee. Kama unataka kuchukua plats uieke bodi ya Subaru,
Ah,
weka.
Una
Ebu imagine by the time una clock out you are
what
living.
does that tell you? The fact that they're not even aligned. Kuna mali itashinda tu ikisumbua because
Sikia,
hazi.
But si ame- yes, ako sawa.
intentionality
Yeye tu bora
and purpose.
aonekane na unajua kuna wale wenye wananunua Maybach because of the engine. Unajua?
Eh,
For Rafi yeye angalii engine.
Sikia.
Yeye anaangalia luku.
mi
So
nasema
hivyo ndio
hivi.
Ifanane tu
so
na
hiyo ndio
Maybach.
itakuwa
Skiza,
purpose yake kwa line.
skiza. Kama papasi yako ni luku, wacha iwe luku. Kama papasi yako ni engine, wacha iwe engine. I'm not talking about the action itself. I'm talking about the driving spirit. Inaweza kwa leo si Maybach ni kitu ingine. I'm talking about what is driving you to make that type of choice. Ni wewe unataka.
Which-
Unasikia? Mi uona wasee msee akidrive tuseme Toyota 110 anaingiliwa gari mzee ama ile Karib. No. Huyo msee ako direct na ile kitu anataka.
Kama kitu anaweza afford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Living within your means.
Yes.
Unaona?
Eh.
Lakini utaona pia, unaona hao wase wa forex wanakuanga flashy. Why? Juu purpose yao ni attract those people who are attracted to that type of lifestyle, and they don't break character. Atashika ma 300,000 hivi azihesabu, akuonyeshe trade zake amekula 2 million nini, lazima, because ameidentify soko yake, ameidentify mi purpose yangu ni hivi, and I'm going to be intentional by the things I do.
But her nini is this person even
A
if he
social
da-
engineer.
Yeah, her social
And a
engineer.
social engineer, his fans.
No, wacha
Do you know?
ngoja,
Check
ngoja,
it.
ngoja.
By
So
him-
bibi yako
Wait, let me learn this kidogo. You see that kwanza analogy you've given us about watu wa forex. Yeah, ameenda pale flashy cars. Kuna watu wanajua navutia. Hajaenda kwa social engineer
No,
kwa
that is
ngoja.
social engineer. Hiyo
No.
kuvutia. Sikiza.
He just displays whatever attracts it
Sikiza.
goes.
The social engineering nilikwambia haianzi at the action level. It starts at the mind level.
But you remember the way you
Huyu jamaa ana intend kuachieve nini? Okay, hawa mafans ndio wanione hivo. What image do I need to show them? Leta hiyo GLE hapa. Sawa, wewe shika 100,000 na ikodisha, nitakupatia 3,000 kila siku. Ikika kwa yada 3,000 kila siku kwa miezi 3, nipatie ama 5,000 basi bro, kwa siku 20, 100,000. You understand? This person wants to socially engineer his image so that wewe uende akikwambia na kuuzia boti ya 50,000 utamlipa. Because ukiangalia kladi, ukiangalia pesa, ukiangalia lifestyle, asha kuengineer kitambo.
kwa hivyo wewe hapo ndio na sasa I think hapo ndio mali napata Rafi. So ndio maana ulisema tutoe pia ukakubaliana love
Haiko,
hamna love.
hamna.
This is a matter of going for what you want, and if it is not fitting what you want, panel beat it to fit what
Or not just panel beating. Or sometimes part of the social engineering is hii ambayo nafanya hivi, hii effort kama ifanye, I will do something else. Unaona?
to this thing.
Not to this thing, to even me myself, I can do something else. Not exactly, because if you're stuck with formulas that do not work, you need to change. Otherwise, your
you're
social
saying
engineering is
if
not
you try
working.
to manipulate someone and is not manipulatable,
Sikia,
you change
move
that.
beyond manipulation.
It's
Manipulation.
like telling me to move beyond social engineering.
No. Manipulation is one negative cause of effect of social engineering.
Who said it's negative? It's working if it's working.
Kwa sababu to the person you're manipulating it has negative effects. Kwa
How?
sababu unamuingiza mahali ambapo ye hakuwa anataka. Umenipata? Na kwa sababu unamshawishi ama kwa sababu you have whatever power you have over this person, whether it's monetarily, whether it's linguistically, unaona?
So you're talking about mutual social engineering.
Exactly.
Yani paka dema amekuangalia kwambia check fanya hivi.
Wewe hata
Wewe
hiyo
ni social
Kiswahili
engineer.
hata nakwambiaje unatumia Kiswahili kingi. Watakaje?
Watakaje nitafanya.
You understand?
Hiyo ni alignment.
Okay.
Yes, social
Now,
engineering.
listen. Alignment is if you are using emotion. No, I'm talking about scare. I'm not talking about the action. I'm talking about the mindset. The mindset that leads to the action.
It's still alignment. As in, the woman has aligned to your purpose.
Okay.
Amekuamini, akakutrust,
Ni sawa.
akakurespect.
So that's why
Kwa
these
hivyo,
are other things
wacha
come as
tuite alignment, and that is purpose alignment, not emotional alignment. Unaona?
And not social engineering.
Ni social engineering.
not.
Skia.
How is it social engineering?
It
if she has
also
accepted you.
listen, it comes to the bado sisi si viumbe tu hivyo. We manifest these things. We think about them. We align our chi with them and we manifest and actually do them. Zile vitu nadhani zime succeed inaweza kuwa ni kweli ulifanya formula ika succeed or you got lucky. Umenipata?
No.
Mi nataka kutumia analogy ya contractor. So, assume, okay, this is how I see it when, like, in terms of marriage, in terms of, like, when a man and a woman, like, come together. So, I see it, so, there are two buildings with bricks. So, the building ni, the man on this side, and the woman on the other side. So, of course, kuna nice bricks, bad bricks. It's a building. Kuna good things na bad things about you, right? So I don't see it as a circumstance where you this man comes to my house and like tries to kuweka hizo bricks zake kwangu. I see a situation where there's this brick house and this other brick house. And then now what we do, we come together and